There is a specific narrative that has taken hold of the internet lately. And if you spent any time in the comment sections of videos about Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie, you have seen it. In fact, you might have even typed it yourself. It is the story of the gatekeeper. It is the belief, held by millions of people who genuinely care about Brad, that Angelina Jolie is the villain in a fairy tale, a woman standing firmly in the doorway, physically blocking a father from seeing his son. It is a story that says the only reason Knox Jolie-Pitt wasn't at his father's table for Thanksgiving, the only reason he remains a stranger to the man who gave him life, is because his mother simply won't allow it. It is a narrative that makes sense on the surface, doesn't it? It fits the timeline of a bitter divorce. It fits the history of the aggressive court battles. And let's be honest, it is a comforting story in a strange way, because it makes Brad the tragic hero, a man fighting against a powerful external force to reclaim his stolen family. It allows us to believe that if only that one barrier were removed, if only Angelina would step aside, Knox would run into his father's arms and everything would be healed. But today, I need to talk to you about something difficult. I want us to put aside the anger and the headlines for a moment, and I want us to look at the physical reality standing right in front of us. I want you to close your eyes and picture Knox Jolie-Pitt as he is today, not as the little boy we remember from the red carpets of 10 years ago. Picture the young man we saw recently, walking out of the gym in Los Angeles. He is 17 years old. He towers over his mother. He has broad shoulders, a strong jawline, and a gaze that feels incredibly mature for his age. He has a driver's license. He has a phone. He navigates the streets of one of the biggest cities in the world with the confidence of a man. And this brings us to the uncomfortable, heartbreaking question that we have been avoiding. Can you truly ban a 6-foot-tall, nearly adult man from seeing his father if he truly, deeply wanted to go? We need to stop treating Knox like a toddler caught in a custody exchange, helpless in the backseat of a car. We need to start treating him like a young man capable of making his own decisions, however painful those decisions might be. Because once we accept that Knox has agency, once we accept that he has the power to say yes or no, we are left with a possibility that is far more terrifying for Brad Pitt than any court order could ever be. What if the door isn't locked from the outside by Angelina? What if the door is being bolted from the inside by Knox himself? This is the conversation nobody wants to have because it strips away the simple villain and reveals a tragedy that is much harder to fix. Let's be real with each other for a minute. If Knox woke up tomorrow morning with the holiday season approaching and felt a deep, undeniable pull to see his father, if he decided that he needed to look Brad in the eye, do we really think Angelina Jolie would physically tackle him to the ground? Do we think she would lock him in his room or take away his car keys? In the eyes of the law, he is months away from being an adult. In the eyes of the world, he is already there. The barriers that existed when he was a child, the drivers, the nannies, the strict visitation schedules, those walls have crumbled with time. Knox has the resources. He has the freedom. He could call an Uber and be at Brad's house in Los Feliz in 20 minutes. So if the physical barrier is gone, why is the distance still there? Why is the silence so loud? To understand this, we have to look at the psychology of the situation, and we have to do it with compassion for everyone involved, including the boy. There is a theory, often whispered about in family therapy circles, concerning what happens to sons when a high-conflict divorce tears a family apart. It's called the protector syndrome. When a family fractures, especially in a way that is public and messy, young boys often step into the vacuum left by the father. They watch their mother go through the fire. They see her distress, her fear, her tears, and unconsciously, without anyone asking them to, they take a silent vow. They decide that they will be the ones to protect her. They decide that they will not be like the man who left or the man who caused the pain. Think about the images we have seen of Knox over the last few years. He is almost always by Angelina's side. He isn't just walking with her, he's escorting her. He carries the heavy bags, he holds the door, he guides her through the chaos of the paparazzi with a protective hand on her back. He has spent the last 8 years, his entire adolescence, watching Angelina navigate single motherhood, health scares, and relentless legal battles. He has likely heard her side of the story 1,000 times, not necessarily because she was trying to brainwash him, but because she was the only parent there. In Knox's mind, going to see Brad might not just be visiting dad. It might feel like a betrayal. It might feel like crossing enemy lines. It might feel like abandoning the post he has held for nearly a decade as the man of the house. This is a loyalty that runs deeper than blood. It is a tribal loyalty, forged in the trenches of a family war. And for Brad Pitt, this is the nightmare scenario. Because you can fight a court order. You can hire the best lawyers in America to fight a ban. But you cannot hire a lawyer to fight your son's loyalty to his mother. You cannot sue for affection. You cannot litigate love. If Knox is staying away because he wants to, because he feels Brad hasn't earned his forgiveness, then the ban theory is just a comforting lie we tell ourselves to avoid the harsh truth. The truth is that the son simply might not like the father. I know how hard this is to hear for those of you who have supported Brad through his recovery. You look at him now at 61 years old, looking sober, looking healthier, trying to produce good movies and live a quiet life. You see a man who has admitted his faults, who has done the work to get better. And you think, doesn't he deserve a chance? Doesn't every father deserve a chance to make amends? And you're right. In a perfect world, redemption would always be met with forgiveness. It is incredibly tragic to see a father try to clean up the wreckage of his past, only to find that the people he built the house for have already moved out. But we have to respect Knox's autonomy. We have to stop assuming he's a puppet on a string. We have to remember that he was there. He was on that plane in 2016. He was in that house during the shouting matches. He has memories that we, the public, do not have. He has scars that we cannot see. If Angelina is subtly influencing him, if she cries when Brad is mentioned, if the mood in the house shifts when the topic comes up, then yes, that is a form of manipulation. Psychologists call it alienation, and it is a terrible thing. But even alienation has its limits. Eventually, a child grows up, looks at the world, and makes their own judgment. There is another layer to this, one that is perhaps the most painful of all. It's the mirror. Nature has a cruel sense of humor, doesn't it? Of all the children, Knox is the one who looks exactly like Brad. He has the same eyes, the same smile, the same way of carrying himself. Imagine being Brad Pitt, sitting alone or with a small group of friends this holiday season, and seeing photos of a young man who was your physical double, living a life that completely excludes you. It must feel like looking at a ghost. It must feel like seeing your own legacy walking away from you. Some insiders have suggested that for Knox, keeping the name Pitt when his sisters Shiloh, Zahara, and Vivian have dropped it might not be an act of love for Brad, but an act of reclamation. Perhaps he isn't keeping the name because he wants to be Brad's son. Maybe he is keeping the name because he wants to redefine what a Pitt man is. Maybe he wants to show the world that a man with that last name can be steady, can be loyal, can be the protector of his mother rather than the source of her pain. If that is true, it is a statement more powerful than any name change could ever be. So as we watch the holiday season unfold, and as we read the headlines about bans and restrictions, let's try to see the human beings behind the drama. Let's see a mother who is fiercely protecting the world she built for her children. Let's see a father who is realizing that money and fame cannot buy back the time he lost. And let's see a 17-year-old boy who was stuck in the middle, trying to figure out what it means to be a man and who he wants to model that manhood after. It is easier to blame the mother than to accept that the son has rejected the father. It is easier to be angry at Angelina than to be heartbroken for Brad. But as Knox approaches his 18th birthday, the excuses will run out. The custody battle will end, the lawyers will go home, and all that will be left is the relationship or the lack of one. I want to leave you with this thought, and I really want you to think about it before you type your comment. Do we honestly believe that in the age of iPhones and social media, a young man who wants to find his father wouldn't find him? Or are we witnessing the silent, stubborn choice of a son who has looked at the two parents offered to him and picked a side? This is the tragedy of the Jolie-Pitt family. It isn't a legal tragedy anymore. It is a human one. It is the story of a door that might be unlocked but remains closed because the person on the inside has no desire to turn the handle. I know this topic stirs up a lot of emotions. Many of you have been through divorces. Many of you have been the alienated parent or the child caught in the middle. I want to hear your perspective. Do you think Knox is staying away out of fear and guilt instilled by Angelina? Or do you think he is staying away out of principle based on his own memories? Is he a victim or is he a young man of conviction? Let's talk about it in the comments. Let's be respectful, but let's be honest. Because the silence coming from Knox Jolie-Pitt is the loudest sound in Hollywood right now, and it's telling us a story we might not be ready to hear. Thank you for spending this time with me. If this story touched you, if it made you look at the situation a little differently, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. We are here to dig deeper, to find the emotional truth behind the gloss of the headlines. Take care of your families, hold them close, and I will see you in the next video.